So over the past few years, we have used a ton of YouTube ads to get more customers and clients into our world. In fact, I've spent over $1 million of my own money on YouTube ads, and I've made some mistakes at the same time. And we're gonna get into the 3 biggest mistakes that I've made with YouTube ads in today's video. So first things first, if you're new to my YouTube channel, welcome. My name is Penberthy. I'm the founder of adclients.com, and I'm super excited that you are here joining us on the channel. We upload a couple times a week with content about traffic, funnels, conversion, all that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And like I said, in today's video, we're gonna be getting into the topic of YouTube ads. We have spent well over $1 million of my own money on, when I say we, myself and my team, on YouTube ads, and we've done incredibly well with them. You can see loads of videos on our channel where we show you the spend, we show you the targeting, we show you the videos we're using, so you can go and learn a ton of stuff about YouTube right here on the channel. But in today's video, I want to talk about something very specific, and that's a few of the mistakes that I've made with YouTube ads along the way. A couple obvious, 1 or 2 not so obvious, and I've even got a bonus 4th mistake that I've made that I'd like to tell you about as well. So we're gonna dive into this. Before we do, let me know in the comments box, are you currently using YouTube ads in your business? Let me know, because from what I hear, most people are on Facebook and Instagram, and hardly anyone knows about YouTube. So I'd love to know if you are. Let me know in the comments box. So the first mistake that I made with YouTube ads, and it wasn't so much a mistake back then, but it is a mistake now. And this is why I wanna touch on this point. The mistake that I made is recycling Facebook ads and using them on YouTube. What do I mean by this? Well, look, they are 2 very different platforms. When you're advertising on Facebook and when you're advertising on YouTube, yes, you're reaching a very similar demographic, but you're reaching them in a different way, on a different platform where they are interacting differently. And so the way that you grab someone's attention needs to be different on these platforms. And so when you take a Facebook ad, for example, you have accompanying headline, description, there's engagement, there's comments, there's different stuff going on, and so and you have the ability to skip through a video, to go back to the beginning. So if something happens in the beginning of a Facebook ad that you missed, you can scroll back to the beginning. Like, there's a ton of differences. Whereas on YouTube, when that video starts playing, it's playing. When it ends, it ends. That skip button's there the entire time. If they hit the skip button and then regret their decision, later on, they might think, oh, actually, I wish I watched a bit more of that. Well, it was gone. It was an impulsive decision and it's happened, right? How many times have you made a decision and then immediately regretted it? Well, that can happen with YouTube ads. Facebook, not so much. You scroll past an ad, you think, actually, I was interested. You scroll back, it's still there in the newsfeed. And so one of the main things and one of the main differences between these 2 platforms and how you interact with people on them is with YouTube, you have to grab someone's attention with what you're saying in the very beginning of the video. First 5 seconds before that skip button appears, you have to say something very impactful that's gonna grab someone's attention to keep watching. You don't have to do that with Facebook. With Facebook, the first 5 seconds could be you just out in a nice location, or you just walk in and talk. Like, it doesn't have to be in the first 5 seconds, because you've got the headline that's doing the job that the first 5 seconds of the video on YouTube would be doing. The headline grabs the attention on Facebook, then they wanna keep watching and seeing what this video ad is all about, right? On YouTube, first 5 seconds is doing the task. So when I first jumped over to YouTube ads and started playing around with those, I had had a ton of success on Facebook. So I just took a few of the creatives, a few of the videos that had worked for me on Facebook and started running them on YouTube. Now look, they did actually work. I got some results, we got some traffic, we got some customers, but I've since learned that there are these differences that I've just explained. And so now what I do is quite interesting. It's something of a hybrid. I know the things that I've got to do on Facebook to grab attention. I know the things I've got to do on YouTube to grab attention. And so now I'll create a video that is tailor-made for both. So I am still cutting corners. I am still being able to save my time, but I'm doing things in a video ad. If I was shooting one right now, I would say some stuff in the first 5 seconds that I know satisfies the YouTube platform, and then I can do other things that I know satisfies Facebook and things like that. But just purely taking an ad that's worked on Facebook and trying to recycle it on YouTube is not the best way to do it. The second biggest mistake that I've made with YouTube ads was not switching over to something called target CPA, or at least not doing it quick enough, because when you first start running ads on YouTube, and we teach this to our customers and we teach this to our clients, you want to use what we call manual bidding. I don't want to get too techie here. There's another video on our channel most likely where we dive into it, but essentially it's an auction, isn't it? You are buying traffic on these social platforms, and the same with YouTube. So you're auctioning, you're putting forth a bid to try and win the traffic that you're targeting, and so the higher the bid, the more likely you are to win. Well, when you first launch a YouTube ad, you want to do something called manual bidding, right? Which is where you set an amount that you're willing to pay to get a view. And that's it. You're paying for cost per view. If you're going to get a view on your ad, you're willing to pay up to this amount. And that's fine. And when you're first starting out, that's the way to do it, because you're in control. You can figure out what your numbers are. You're not going to have, YouTube overspending and outside of the budget that you're happy with. But there becomes a point where you want to switch to a different type of bidding strategy that's called target CPA. And target CPA is where you tell YouTube how much you're willing to pay for an action. An action in your business might be someone joining your list. It might be buying your product. Whatever the action is, whatever that next step is that you want these people to take, you can work out how much you're willing to pay for that action. So for me, to give you a real example, if we want to get someone on our email list, we know that we can pay easily up to $10 for an email lead and remain profitable. For you, it might be lower, that's fine. So I'm going to set that as a target CPA, cost per action. I'm going to say to YouTube, I'm willing to pay $10 to get a lead. And now you go and you let YouTube do its thing. And sometimes it's going to pull you leads for $4, sometimes it's going to pull them for $11, it's going to sometimes cost $8, but the average is going to be less than the 10 that you've set as the target. And there's something about this bidding strategy that allows you to scale more aggressively. If you put a cap on the cost per view that you're willing to pay, for some reason with that bidding strategy, you are limiting your reach. But if you give YouTube a bit more control and say, hey, here's my bid, here's my target CPA, you go ahead and play with my budget, just try and find me leads for that price, but you're giving them a bit of flexibility. For some reason, campaigns can just take off and scale more aggressively, easier, and you still get a really, really good lead cost, and it seems to always be within the target. So if I had to think of another mistake that I had made, it would most likely be that. It would be not switching over to target CPA quick enough. The third biggest mistake that I've made with YouTube ads is being too specific with keywords. Let me give you some context. I got my start online with uploading YouTube videos like this, but not using paid YouTube ads, but rather uploading these videos and trying to get them positioned on the first page of YouTube and sometimes even the first page of Google. So I came from the background of, I've got to find a very specific key phrase. How can I market my business with YouTube? And I would take that key phrase and I would build a video around it like the one you're watching right now. I would name it that in the title. I'd have some keywords in the tags. I'd have it in the description. I'd buy some backlinks, all that stuff to try and get positioned for that very specific key phrase. And so when I came onto the YouTube platform to run ads, I still had that in my brain, and I was thinking about, right, if I'm going to run an ad, I need to be specific with the targeting. I've got to be specific with the types of keywords that I want to show my ad on. And what I found out, and it took me a while to learn this, is that, man, with ads, you don't have to be that specific. In fact, you're going to throttle the growth of your business and your ability to scale because you're capped by the amount of views for any of those keywords. And so I'd be running these ad campaigns and they'd be doing really well, but I would try and spend more and I couldn't. We were stuck because we're stuck at the amount of views. And I've since learned that actually you can go much broader with the keywords that you're targeting, and you can let the video ad itself weed out the right people from the wrong people. An example of this would be if I target just the keyword social media marketing, right? That's quite a competitive keyword. But if I run an ad that targets anyone searching for that or any variation of that keyword, well then my ad's going to show up on people that type in how to use YouTube social media ads to promote my business or from my marketing. And as long as those 3 words, social media marketing, are in a keyword that someone is actually typing in, I'm still going to show up. And so my reach can go really, really wide, but my video ad itself can be specific. So I can target social media marketing, and then in my ad I can say, hey, if you want to learn how to grow your business using very simple video ads on YouTube, I'd love to show you how you can do that. Now the people that were not a good fit and not interested in that, they'll skip the video, no trouble. the people that are interested, they'll come through. So it allows me to cast a really wide net, go really far with my targeting, and the right people are still going to come through. So that's another big mistake. In fact, that's my third one, is that I was being too specific with the targeting, and I was actually free to go broad. And I'd like you to try that tactic. What's a tactic? I'd like you to try that tactic out for yourself as well. And finally, I've got a bonus fourth mistake, and I wanted to include this one, but I didn't want to put it first because it might sound a bit lame, but it's also very important, which is that I didn't start YouTube ads early enough. That genuinely feels like a mistake to me. And I knew that if I said that as the first one, it would sound really wishy-washy and not actually a valuable mistake to learn from, but it truly is. Because I was on Facebook and I was on Instagram and we're running ads, and that's great. And I kept hearing about YouTube. I kept hearing about the opportunity to run ads on the platform. I kept hearing about how targeted they were, how profitable they were, how cheap it was to run this traffic. I had friends of mine in industry begging me to just test it out because they knew that it worked. And I put it off for like 2 years. And I remember it finally, push came to shove, and I thought, I'm gonna try this out. I'm gonna give YouTube ads a go. And it literally took off from day one, and I was blown away. And we have scaled ever since, and now my company is not reliant on YouTube, but it takes the lion's share of our ad budget, and we do very, very well with it. So I truly, truly wish I started on YouTube a year or two earlier than I did. So anyway, those are the biggest mistakes that I feel I've made with YouTube. Hopefully something in there was helpful for you. If it was, drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this video and which of those mistakes was most helpful for you. So also hit the like button. The only way that I know you're actually getting value from these videos is if you interact like that, so I can see what kind of content you want me to continue making for you. I put out a couple new videos here on the channel every week, so make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you're notified of future videos. And finally, if you really want to dive deep into this topic of YouTube ads and learn more about it, I have a free online masterclass that you can register for. I'll leave the link in the description box in the top comment, and I'll take you on a 90-minute tour of how YouTube ads has impacted my business, how we use them, and how you can use them too. And at the end of that training, I'll offer you my YouTube ads training course as well, if that would be of interest to you. So with that, thanks for watching this video. Hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in a future one.